Yeah, well, first and foremost, it's been sad. Publicly, I want to thank Guillermo for including me in his coaching staff for the last couple of years. Been very kind to me. I really enjoyed being around him and coaching with him. And, it's a very sad day when something like that happens, especially when you're part of the staff. So my thoughts are with Guillermo and Gustavo and the others that were brought in. You never like to see that. So the last couple of days, first and foremost, have been sad. In saying that, we do have a game tomorrow, and I'm just trying to get the guys as organized as possible, get their motivation and their thoughts towards the game on Sunday, which sometimes is hard to do. But the last couple of days of training has been okay. I think we have a good understanding of the situation on Sunday as far as the playoffs and what we need to do, and also looking around the league what the other teams are doing. It's a motivated group. I think they walked off the field in Portland very angry with what had happened. And then obviously the fallout from that was the coaching change. But they've responded so far fairly well, and we'll understand exactly where their heads are at when they step on the field.
Secondly, can we get an update on Javier's status? Do you expect him to be available tomorrow? And are you able to share any results from the MRI?
I didn't know about the MRI, Megan, to be honest with you. So I've been a little bit busier than normal. Javier has not joined us on the field in the last couple of days, so I would say his availability for tomorrow is not available.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We'll go next to a question from Kevin Baxter. Kevin, go ahead.
Hey, Dom. Haven't spoken to you in March. Lucky you. Hope you're well.
Thanks, Kevin.
Couple of questions. Actually, I think maybe three. We'll try to squeeze in three because I don't think Chris Clinton's going to give me the floor back again. First of all, your record speaks for itself. You have nothing left to prove to anybody. So, and it seemed to a lot of us that you did not get a fair shake last time after you were interim coach, almost made it to the playoffs. So I'm wondering what led you to accept the interim job this time. Would you be interested in extending that? Secondly, you talked a little bit about this with Megan already, but what do you hope to accomplish with the team? You only have them for 1 week. And then finally, I think yesterday you were supposed to talk about your coaching staff. Have you settled on a staff yet? Thanks.
Okay, I'll answer the first one. Thank you for the nice words. My focus right now is 3 games with the Galaxy. I haven't even thought. Sorry, I got a little something in my throat here. But I haven't even really thought of head coaching duties with the Galaxy beyond 2020. I think it would be really selfish of me to think that I'm putting myself in a position to get my name in the mix. I've been here. I've been very grateful to Dan Beckerman and Chris Klein for bringing me here, and especially Ziggy, who brought me here in the first place. So I was asked to do a job, and that was to take over the team for the rest of the 2020 season. No conversation beyond that, and that's completely fine by me. The second one, I'm sorry, I think you said something about Megan asked, what am I trying to accomplish here?
Correct. Yeah. What's your goal here?
Well, it's easy. I think we just want to win. It's give the guys some positive energy. A win always does that. We are chasing this playoff spot, so we understand where we are in the standings. I think it's just important that we step on the field with one attitude in mind, and that is try and win the game at all costs. And hopefully we walk out the field with that ambition met. So nothing more than that. I just want to get these guys going, get them organized, have some ideas that I could pass on to them, give them some as much information about Salt Lake as possible, so when they step on the field, there seems to be no surprises. And then after that, we sit back and let the players show us what they can do. And we want that to happen. We want that to be a victory. And as far as the coaching staff tomorrow, it's pretty much a solo act almost in a way. Jovan Karowski, our technical director, will be helping me with with set pieces and doing the substitution cards. And other than that, it's just our fitness guys, because in order for people to join us here to be part of the staff, they have to quarantine for 9 to 10 days. So unless any of you have been getting tested in the last 9 to 10 days and have been quarantining, you're more than welcome to come join me on the bench.
Thank
Next,
you.
we're going to go to a question from Damien. Damien, go ahead.
Hey, Don.
Hey, Damien, how you doing?
Good. As the assistant, being the assistant coach that's still around, what would you point to the reason this season never really got on track for the guys? Aside from the 4-game winning streak, it's been, this stretch here that's what, eight or nine losses. Can you point to any one thing or things never really got on track this year?
Well, it's been a crazy year, as you know, Damien. And we did have that one good run after coming out of Orlando. And I thought we were really building on something. And I don't exactly know where we were in the standings at that particular time, but we took a bit of a fall here. I will say, these are no excuses, but we've rarely had our 3 DPs on the field at the same time. I think if that were to be more possible for more than the time we had, I think it would be a better reflection of how the team can play and what our record would be. So that for me is always a problem when you don't have your money players on the field and healthy when they're on the field. I think, and then in case of that, when you look around, we've given up a lot of goals in a lot of ways. And I think, sometimes our attention to detail or our attention to the danger when the other team has the ball needs to be sharper. And Guillermo was pounding this home all the time. So it wasn't something that was just kind of swept under the rug. It was something that was talked about constantly. It just was about making plays and making big plays. The defensive record, when you look at it, is not wonderful. And I think when you look around the league, that the teams that are on the top of the table have good defensive records. Now, I'm not saying it's just the goalkeeper, the back four, and some others. It's an absolute team effort, and I think that's something that the players would hold their hand up and say that they could be better at.
Thanks, Dom.
Thank you.
Looks like we have 2 more as of now. We're going to go next to Josh Gessman. Go ahead.
Hey, Don. Thanks for talking to me.
Hey, Josh.
You've been in this position before, having come in as sort of the interim coach. I wonder if you looked at this situation as any different or the same, and what do you say to the guys that first time you walk back into the locker room as sort of the interim head coach?
Yeah, sadly, this is my second time doing this. The first time, I'll be honest with you, was much more difficult. Ziggy and I had a wonderful relationship that spanned many years. So when I first found out about that, my heart was completely broken. Had a conversation with Ziggy, and Ziggy was completely behind me taking over the team for the rest of the season. It was something that was really hard for me to do. Sometimes when this happens, either you're bad luck or experienced or both. And the first thing I said to them was, we have to understand that we were all in the locker room together because of Guillermo. He was responsible for us all being in the locker room, whether we being a player or a coach or a staff member. And on the other hand, we were all responsible for him not being in the locker room when this happened. So we have to take responsibility, whether it be, the assistant coach to a fitness coach to, a guy who's played all the minutes that we've had this year. So there is a responsibility, should be more than fair shared when this happens. And saying that, it was a very quick meeting the first time. The next time we met, we just had a quick little video meeting and then expectations and just kind of a clearing of the air of, yes, we're disappointed. We are angry and sad that this has happened to Guillermo. But the next thing is you have to prepare for a game. And so we just went about our business, stepping on the field, and just had a quick little video meeting just to kind of let the guys know that, this is the way we should be approaching the game. And we showed them some clips from the Portland game, which we didn't play very well, but we did have some good moments, just to kind of remind them that, yeah, things are not looking very good right now, but we do have the talent to make some things happen going forward.
Did you get a chance to speak to Guillermo before he left?
Yes, I did.
We're going to go next to Daniel Schwartzman. Daniel, go ahead.
Thanks. Hi.
Hi, Daniel.
Yesterday, Javier sent a message that he needs to try harder, Javier Hernandez. Don't have his work ethic, and analytically, how do you see Javier? Is he sad or worried?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
Sure. Yesterday, Javier sent a message that he needs to try harder. How is his work ethic, and anemically, is Javier sad or worried about the situation?
Yeah, he sent a message. You have to understand. I'm not a social media guy, and I really don't follow these guys, and I don't want to. So that message is news to me. But you're saying he sent in a message that he needs to work harder.
Yeah, exactly. To the fans, I think it was Instagram that he needs to try harder. He knows that he's a complicated situation right now. So how do you see it, Javier? Is he really worried or?
Yeah, well, I think disappointed is probably the right word. When Javier first came to the Galaxy, I think expectations and excitement and anticipation was very high, very exciting. I think his preseason started off very, very well. I was very excited for him, knowing that we have a guy who can score a lot of goals, given the right service at the right moments. And then, unfortunately, he's run into a lot of injury problems this year. I can't remember. I think when he started games, he's come out or he's come off the bench. So, and Chris, maybe you could, I don't know if you have the stat on this, but I'd be interested to see if he's played a 90-minute game this year from start to finish. I think maybe the first 2 games of the year, or the first game of the year. So that goes to saying that's, of course, it's worrying when you get injured because you don't want to be injured first off, but you want to make sure you're on the field. And I think the intention of bringing Javier here was one of we're getting a good player to score goals, but when that player is not on the field for whatever reason, injury, lack of form, we have to come back to it and look at what went wrong to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Do you have his handle so I can follow him? Is that something you can maybe pass on to me?
To clarify as well, Dom's comments, out of 10 games, Javier has played 4 for a full 90 minutes this season.
Okay.
I think that we have one last question we'll go to from Salvador Perez. Salvador, go ahead.
Thank you, Chris. Hi, Dom.
Hi, Salvador.
Best wishes in these games.
Thank you.
Hey, Dom, we know that the results of LA Galaxy in those games weren't so good, and possibilities for a playoff spot are so minor. But in that case, looking for the other teams and looking for the results of LA Galaxy, is there the capability to look for a spot of playoffs?
Yeah, I think mathematically we're still alive. Is that right, Chris?
Correct.
Yeah. So obviously Sunday is going to tell a big story. The first thing in my mind when I look at the standings is the LA Galaxy should not be in last place, first and foremost. So the first ambition of mine was obviously the playoffs is a goal at the end of the season, but the goal going into this first game was we want to get the win, and there's a possibility we could jump some teams. So not finishing in last place for me should be a part of our ambitions. Because obviously if you make the playoffs, it's going to kind of speak for itself. So, yeah, we have to have other teams kind of fall by the wayside, and we have to go on a really good run here. But also we can only play one game at a time, as we all know. And this game up against Salt Lake is the most important game of the season. It's the most important minutes of the season. It's the most important preparation. So, like I said before, we're going to know where the guys' heads are at, when they step on the field the first 5 minutes, if our intentions are to win this game. We have to make sure that our first challenge, our first pass is crisp, is meaningful, and there's not only intention behind it, but there's also ambition. So, I know the guys are, not in a great way with what had happened on not just with Guillermo being not with the team anymore, but also with the result and how it went about. To be 3-0 down 30 minutes into the game is an awful start at any place. So, like I said, these first 5-10 minutes. Hopefully you're going to see a very aggressive team and one that shows not only themselves but Salt Lake that's going to be a difficult night.